So, Neetu, to answer your questions about miniature painting, here I have opened the art and culture platform of Google, and I have some miniature paintings here. And I've also Googled some images. So, from my knowledge or from what I have learned, um, meeting 10 to 15 different Padma Shris and Shilp Guru and national body miniature artists. So miniature was spread it throughout India, from north to south, from east to west, and each emperor has, you know, has his own style. Like not the emperor, but the artist that belonged to that particular area had his own style, his own subject matter, his own color palette. So this is a major difference. Now, for example, if we see the Mughal time paintings like this, so a lot of use of blues and greens can be seen in Mughal paintings or the subject matters that belong to the Mughals. Whereas if we see more of Jaipur style or um, Kangra style or they were like more of warm colors used. Now subject matter was either they painted mythological subjects like related to Krishna, like this one, or they painted the court scenes, um, like this one, like uh, interaction of kings and queens and portraits of kings and queens and everything which was happening in the courtyard. There were war scenes, um, uh, the lots of subject matter. So it was like either religious or related to uh, the daily activities of the emperor, like this one. See, everybody is doing namaz, I think, in this, and it's a beautiful work of art. And this fellow, being Hindu, is like standing straight. So there is, if you read, there is like a lot to say in a miniature painting. It is very much similar to what we are currently doing, painting current subjects. And there is some kind of representational or some kind of thought that is coming from the artist, not maybe not very strongly painted, because that time the painters were not as free to express themselves. They had to follow what the king said or the rules and regulation. But each painting for sure had some or the other element that the artist was trying to show. So for you, I feel that to begin with multiple figures. So let me just Jaipur school, as I said, has like the figure size is normal, the anatomy is very much normal, like us, like what we do study in figure drawing and other subjects. For Kishingarh, the figures were small, um, and for Mughal, the figures were a bit long, and so each and every era has some had like more of uh, either there's difference in the color palette or the drawing or the subject matter. Rest, the painting technique remains the same. So there is no difference in painting technique. Everybody used to paint in the same manner as done. Like it was the same. So only this color, subject matter was different, and surface was mostly paper or cloth. So if you want to start with multiple figures, I feel what I have seen the artists doing is they are actually taking the old paintings, old miniature paintings, and adding maybe the colors. They will change the colors. Maybe they will change the borders, but mostly they kind of repeat the same painting as done by one of the old masters with their own color palette. This is what current artists are doing. Nobody is creating their own miniature painting or their own thoughts. Though I met few artists who were trying to do daily sketches and bring in latest subject matters into the into the miniature painting, but but most of them were actually using the older reference and adding an element of their own thought into it and then painting. Painting technique remains the same, colors are also same, and so that time, because there were no companies like Camel, so basically wash color. And many artists say that we mix our own paint, so yes, they do. But if you buy really high quality color, the effect is same. It's just that their color has more pigment and less medium. So I have also seen artists buying ready colors from the market and adding just a touch of pigment into the color to make it more rich. So that is something that you can do. The surface is any paper, anything. So they use handmade paper, which is called Vasli. But I feel that using canvas or any paper, any thick paper, which has good quality to observe the water content, because you'll be doing two, 3 to 4 layers. So that is fine. The brushes again, because if, indicate if you have seen, we have given you a brush which has a bit tilted. The hair is a bit is like shaped like an hook or arc. So those kind of brushes are not available in synthetic, but I have also seen really good high-end miniature artists, famous people using synthetic brush. So it's all about the subject matter, and there's one artist that you should definitely look to, Shazia Sikandar. She is from Pakistan and now in US, and she took the miniature painting to a next level. And um, there are her videos on YouTube and also on Art21. So just go ahead and see her videos, and that will give you a new perspective towards the miniature. I hope I answered all your questions. So pick any painting. The drawing remains the same. Either you can freehand draw or you can trace, and then the coloring process remains the same. Try to introduce your own colors into miniature painting. You don't have to follow the color as done in that era. So we have already lots of nice pastel shades, new colors, so you can just experiment with that. And the miniature painting doesn't have to be really small. I met this artist, so what he is doing is he's taking miniature painting and turning and painting them on huge canvases, with a little twist, with a part of his thought process. I just saw one painting here. So it was, let me see if I can find. It was a nude figure of a queen bathing, and what he did in the miniature painting, the figure was semi-nude, something like this, but this is completely, so it was semi-nude, and this artist, he painted the semi-nude on a huge canvas, and then using oil colors, and then he had a layer, a very thin layer of a linen going, passing through her body, hiding, so creating that translucent effect where I can see her nudity, but it was still hidden. So he was trying to say that earlier the artists were, they had, that particular artist had freedom to paint females nude, but at present this freedom has gone over the time. So that was something he was trying. I think it was beautiful. So I think I answered all your questions, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.